Kim Jong-un executed his uncle Jang Song-taek. Why? Because Jang Song-taek possessed Kim Jong-un's pleasure squad without permission. His uncle Jang Song-taek was a playboy.
Kim Jong-un, the enigmatic leader, hosts secret gatherings far from prying eyes. Extravagant feasts, flowing champagne, and mysterious guests. These hidden events paint a stark contrast to the nation's austere public image. North Korea, the land of mystery, misery, and mind-boggling parties that put even the most extravagant Hollywood bashes to shame. Imagine the most luxurious, over-the-top, and exclusive gatherings you could ever dream up, and then multiply that by 1,000. That's what goes down in the Hermit Kingdom, where Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader with a penchant for secrecy and spectacle, throws parties that are the stuff of legends, or whispers at least. Let's talk about these lavish parties. Picture this, a palace hidden away from prying eyes, nestled within a fortress so secure that Fort Knox looks like a cheap motel. This isn't just any palace, it's a testament to the art of showing off. Grand ballrooms decked out with crystal chandeliers that sparkle like the Milky Way, walls adorned with gold leaf, and floors polished to a mirror finish. If North Korea's citizens ever saw it, they'd probably think they were having a collective hallucination induced by chronic starvation. These exclusive gatherings are the ultimate display of power through luxury and opulence. It's like Kim Jong-un decided to take go big or go home to a whole new level. And why not? When you're the supreme leader, you've got to keep up appearances. These parties are not just about having a good time. They are meticulously crafted productions designed to remind everyone who's boss. Every detail, from the flower arrangements to the imported caviar, screams, "Look at me, I'm untouchable." Now, about those hidden palaces. North Korea's leader doesn't do anything by halves, and that includes his choice of venues. Imagine a setting straight out of a fairy tale if the fairy tale was written by someone with a flair for the dramatic and a bottomless budget. Opulent doesn't even begin to describe it. We're talking grand hallways lined with priceless art, private suites that offer breathtaking views of the carefully curated landscapes, and a general sense of you're never going to see this anywhere else, ever. The irony here is just too rich, pun totally intended. While the ordinary folks of North Korea are busy trying to figure out how to make a meal out of tree bark, the elite are feasting on imported Kobe beef and sipping on vintage wines. It's a stark, almost cartoonish contrast that would be funny if it weren't so tragic. These parties are the epitome of let them eat cake, only the cake is a 7-tiered masterpiece flown in from Paris, and the people are lucky to get a handful of rice. And let's not forget the guest list. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. The creme de la creme of North Korean society, the chosen few who get to bask in the glow of Kim Jong-un's benevolent gaze, are all there. Military leaders, high-ranking officials, and maybe even a few select foreigners, all gathered to pledge their undying loyalty and maybe strike a deal or two. These gatherings are as much about politics as they are about partying. Every smile, every toast, every offhand comment is loaded with significance. It's like a high-stakes game of charades where the penalty for losing could be a one-way trip to the nearest labor camp. The fortress of luxury, rumored to be the setting for Kim Jong-un's secret soirees, is the epitome of excess. Imagine a place where every chandelier drips with crystals and every piece of furniture is so gilded it could blind you faster than a solar eclipse. It's the kind of place where the carpets are so plush, you'd think you're walking on a cloud, if clouds were made of the softest, most expensive velvet known to man. The ballrooms in this palace are something out of a fairy tale. These aren't your average wedding venue ballrooms. These are grandiose halls where the ceilings stretch so high they might as well be touching the heavens. The walls are adorned with mirrors and gold leaf, reflecting the light of 1,000 chandeliers, each one more ostentatious than the last. If you thought disco balls were the height of party sophistication, think again. Here the light sparkles off every surface, creating a dazzling spectacle that screams, "Look at us! We're fancy!" Then there are the private suites, each one more extravagant than the next. These aren't just rooms, they're your mini palaces within a palace. Each suite offers breathtaking views of the lush, manicured gardens. Because why just have a view of a garden when you can have a view of the Garden of Eden? The beds are so large and so cushy they could comfortably sleep an entire village. The bathrooms are equipped with bathtubs the size of small swimming pools, perfect for soaking away the stress of living in a regime of absolute power. And let's not forget the gold-plated fixtures, because regular fixtures are for peasants. While the ruling elite are busy basking in their gold-plated, crystal-encrusted playground, the ordinary North Koreans are living a very different reality. Picture this. While the elite are feasting on caviar flown in from the Caspian Sea and Kobe beef from Japan, the average citizen is likely standing in line for their daily ration of rice and cabbage. It's a bit like throwing a lavish Gatsby-esque party in the middle of the Great Depression. The contrast is so stark, it would be hilarious if it weren't so tragic. In this Hermit Kingdom, the divide between the haves and the have-nots is as wide as the Pacific Ocean. The elite are living in a world where excess is the norm, where every whim is catered to by a small army of servants, and where the biggest worry is whether the champagne is chilled to the perfect temperature. Meanwhile, the common folk are worried about where their next meal is coming from, and whether they'll have enough fuel to keep warm during the bitter winter months. Imagine a place where the stakes are high, not just for your wallet, but for your very existence. Welcome to Kim Jong-un's hidden casino, the kind of place where playing a bad hand can mean more than just losing a few bucks. It's a secret world of high-stakes gambling tucked away in the opulent heart of North Korea's elite gatherings. This isn't your run-of-the-mill Las Vegas casino with bright lights and Elvis impersonators. Oh no, this is a fortress of luxury, a playground for the powerful, and the ultimate stage for a game of risk and reward that makes Vegas look like a kiddie arcade. Step inside and you're greeted by a spectacle that's as jaw-dropping as it is intimidating. Crystal chandeliers, gold-plated everything, and a vibe that screams, "We have more money than you could ever dream of." But don't let the glamour fool you. This is a place where fortunes are won and lost, and not just the kind you can measure in currency. Here, the stakes are social, political, and deeply personal. A wrong move at the card table could see you out of favor faster than you can say kimchi. The players? A mix of North Korea's most influential figures, high-ranking officials, military leaders, and the occasional foreign guest who's lucky enough, or unlucky enough, to get an invite. They gather not just to gamble, but to engage in a high-stakes dance of power and influence. Every bet is a calculated risk, every glance across the table loaded with meaning. It's less about the money and more about who's in and who's out, who's up and who's down in the ruthless pecking order of the North Korean elite. And then there's the man himself, Kim Jong-un, rumored to preside over these games with an inscrutable expression that would make a poker face blush. His presence adds an element of danger and intrigue that's hard to overstate. Imagine having to bluff your way through a hand of poker while the supreme leader watches your every move. No pressure, right? His gaze alone is enough to make the bravest gambler sweat bullets. One wrong move, one sign of weakness, and you might find yourself out in the cold, literally. Picture this, a gathering of the most powerful people in the country, all decked out in their finest, hobnobbing under the glittering chandeliers of a hidden palace. But don't be fooled by the champagne and caviar. These events are less about having a good time and more about keeping everyone on a tight leash. First, let's talk about the meticulous orchestration of these soirees. Kim Jong-un isn't just a supreme leader, he's a master event planner. Think of him as a tyrannical Martha Stewart, orchestrating every detail with the precision of a Swiss watch. The guest list isn't just a who's who of the elite, it's a carefully curated selection of those who need to be reminded of their place in the grand scheme of things. Seating arrangements? Oh, they're not random, they're calculated to perfection. Who sits next to whom, who gets the prime spots, and who's relegated to the outer edges, it all sends a message. The food, the decor, even the music playing softly in the background all serve a singular purpose, to remind everyone that Kim is the boss. Reinforcing power and loyalty among the attendees is the real entertainment of the night. Imagine every smile, every toast, every seemingly casual conversation dripping with subtext. The high-ranking officials and military leaders in attendance aren't just there to enjoy the free-flowing champagne, they're there to pledge their undying loyalty yet again. It's a bit like a mafia wedding where every nod of agreement is a subtle vow of fealty, and every clink of the glass is a tiny but clear signal that they're still on board with the supreme leader's vision, or lack thereof. But wait, there's more. These gatherings are a stage for high-stakes drama. Deals are struck, alliances are reinforced, and sometimes rivalries are exposed. It's like an episode of Game of Thrones, but with fewer dragons and more oppressive regimes. The laughter and smiles are all part of the performance. Behind those polite grins lies a steely undercurrent of control. Kim Jong-un uses these parties to show who's in charge. He's like a puppet master, pulling strings with a quiet, unyielding authority. His presence alone is enough to keep everyone in check, a silent reminder that Big Brother is always watching. And then, there's the underlying strategic intent behind these celebrations. You might think that a party is just a party, but in North Korea, nothing is ever that simple. These events are meticulously planned political theater. Every move is choreographed to serve a greater purpose. The guest list is scrutinized to ensure that only the most loyal and those who need to be reminded of their loyalty are present. The seating arrangements, they're designed to put allies together and keep potential troublemakers in line. The supreme leader understands the importance of optics. He knows that a grand display of wealth and power can send a powerful message, both to his allies and his enemies. It's a way of saying, look at what I can do, look at what I control. It's about projecting an image of prosperity and control, even if the reality for most North Koreans is far from it. These parties are less about enjoying oneself and more about showcasing the regime's ability to provide and control resources. It's a not-so-subtle reminder that, in North Korea, the iron fist is always lurking just beneath the velvet glove. Apparently, while most of the country is busy scavenging for their next meal, there's a clandestine group of women handpicked for their looks to entertain the supreme leader and his pals. Talk about a dystopian talent show. These whispers about the pleasure squad, or gipyeomjo if you want to get all fancy with the Korean term, suggest that young women are selected for their beauty and grace. It's like a twisted version of The Bachelor. Except instead of a rose, these ladies get a gilded cage. They are allegedly forced into this role, hidden from the outside world and kept under strict surveillance. Their lives are as sparkly as the chandelier-lit ballrooms they are confined to, which sounds glamorous until you remember they're basically prisoners in a luxurious hell. Imagine this. While the elite clink their champagne glasses in rooms dripping with gold and crystal, these women are living a nightmare that not even the most imaginative horror movie could script. The contrast between their reality and the opulent settings around them is sharper than a North Korean military parade. They're surrounded by luxury they can't enjoy, like being on a perpetual diet in a bakery. Each sumptuous banquet and glittering party is a reminder of the freedom they don't have. It's as if they've been cast in a never-ending reality show, but the only reality here is their suffering. Let's not sugarcoat it. These women are trapped in a bizarre, high-stakes game of Simon Says, where Simon is Kim Jong-un and saying no isn't an option. Their every move is monitored, every smile forced, and every laugh hollow. The grand settings they are in, with their extravagant decor and endless feasts, only highlight the grimness of their situation. It's like living in a fairy tale castle that's actually a prison. The lives of these women, shrouded in secrecy, are a stark reminder of the cruelty that lurks behind the velvet curtains of power. While the elite enjoy their hedonistic lifestyle, the women are paraded around like trophies, their plight hidden behind the facade of extravagance. The luxury surrounding them is nothing but a cruel joke, a lavish disguise for the grim reality they face daily. These parties, filled with caviar, fine wine, and rare fruits, serve as a twisted backdrop to the hidden suffering of these women. Every bite taken by the elite is a reminder of the privilege and impunity they enjoy, while the women live in constant fear. The opulence is not just excessive, it's a taunt to those who know the truth, a glittering mask covering the dark secrets. As these whispers grow louder, they cast a long, dark shadow over the glitzy facade of North Korea's ruling class. The grandeur of the celebrations is tainted by the unseen agony of these women, their forced smiles masking a reality of despair. It's a grim irony that in a place where everything is meticulously controlled, the most controlled of all are these women, hidden away and suffering in silence. Imagine yourself at one of those secret soirees in North Korea, where the champagne flows like the tears of the starving masses and the caviar is piled higher than a dictator's ego. The allure is irresistible, right? But before you get too excited about the idea of clinking glasses with North Korea's elite, let's take a moment to ponder the price of pleasure in Kim Jong-un's playground. Spoiler alert, It's not just your liver that's at risk. Loyalty is the golden ticket to these exclusive events, but it's also the chain that keeps you firmly tethered to the whims of the supreme leader. You see, in North Korea, loyalty isn't just a virtue, it's a survival tactic. It's not enough to show up with a smile plastered on your face. You have to mean it, or at least be a damn good actor. Because in this twisted game of who can pretend the hardest, slipping up is not an option. The moment you let that grin falter, or heaven forbid, let a stray thought of dissent cross your mind, you're done for. One wrong move and you'll find yourself in a very different kind of party. One where the guest list is permanent and the main course is a hefty serving of regret. Now let's talk about dissent. It's the ultimate party foul in North Korea, worse than double dipping in the guacamole. While in other parts of the world, a little rebellion might make you the life of the party. In Kim Jong-un's kingdom, it makes you the guest of honor at a one-way trip to nowhere. The punishment for dissent isn't just swift, it's creative. We're talking about a regime that doesn't just remove the troublemaker, they erase your entire existence like a poorly written character in a soap opera. And no one dares to raise an eyebrow or even whisper about it because they know the script too well. Today's whisperer is tomorrow's ghost. So, what keeps these people coming back for more? Why would anyone subject themselves to the nerve-wracking, soul-crushing ordeal of these parties? Well, the answer is simple: allure. There's something intoxicating about the sheer excess of it all. The palaces draped in gold, the feasts that would make a Roman emperor blush, the feeling of power, of being part of the inner circle, even if it's just for one night. It's the chance to rub shoulders with the elite, to bask in the glow of power, to momentarily forget that outside those palace walls, the world is falling apart. It's like being in the eye of a storm, where everything is calm and beautiful, but you know that just beyond, there's chaos waiting to swallow you whole. But let's not kid ourselves. This isn't just any allure. This is the kind of allure that comes with a hefty price tag, and I'm not just talking about the cost of the designer tux. The real danger of participating in these secret gatherings is not the hangover the next morning, though that's probably brutal too. No, the real danger is the constant gnawing fear that you're one misstep away from losing everything. Every laugh, every toast, every casual conversation is loaded with subtext. Is that a genuine smile, or are they testing your loyalty? Did you raise your glass at the right time? Are you standing too close to the supreme leader, or worse, too far away? And let's not forget the little detail that these parties are held in a country where most people can't even dream of such luxury. While the elite are busy gambling away fortunes on a single roll of the dice, the average North Korean is gambling on whether they'll find enough food to make it through the week. It's the ultimate disconnect, the kind that's so glaring it's almost laughable if it weren't so tragic. The contrast between the opulence of these secret gatherings and the poverty outside is as stark as it is disturbing. It's like watching someone gorge themselves on a 7-course meal while you're left licking crumbs off the floor. If you found this video intriguing, be sure to stay tuned for more eye-opening content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.